Good evening to you.
These guys are all big influences on me and certainly house music.
No, that does not sound like a life.
Walk around with that collar popped up.
Yeah.
Hey, do this.
Yeah.
You move there.
So let's go on that. I want to talk a little bit about each of your illustrious careers, because you guys have done a lot. All three of you have done amazing, have had amazing contributions to what we call house music. This is the Vintage House Show. And so part of what that is about is celebration and preservation. This is Lauren's framing, but the celebration and preservation of Chicago house legends and Chicago house music. And I think
They did their first shows. About Keith was it really opened up our eyes. I don't know if you guys can hear me on the stream. Oh, okay. But it really opened up our eyes of what was possible from being a DJ. You know, I mean, everybody knew, Steve was a DJ, but to see Keith and to see that it was possible to create a group, you know, it gave us an idea. I mean, obviously, my partner and I, we weren't Jam Silk, but that idea of being a duo and being able to be on stage and perform your music, I give Keith and Steve all the credit for that, and he put on a great show. So that's one thing I'd say about what I always say about Keith. You knew when he was on the mic.
Right.
He let you know that he was on the mic, and just a really just ridiculously talented brother that will be missed in the community.
You know, one of the we have so little recordings of Keith in those early days, and one that's been making the circuit, I think, is when you look at what their performance at the Power Plant.
Mm-hmm.
What was the Powerhouse?
Powerhouse.
The Powerhouse. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Were you there?
I was not there.
No? Yeah. It's so funny because I was not in town when that happened, but very quickly, that sort of, for some reason, everybody saw this. I remember Roy was on that performance.
Roy, that's right. Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
we lost
right.
Roy too. It's been a crazy season.
It has been.
I will have to say, and we'll talk a lot more about Keith and Ron's legacy. But we also lost
Collins.
And last week, DJ Harry Tyner. Not everybody was as familiar with Harry Tyner, but Harry was a pretty well-known DJ and a journalist. He used to write for Windy City Times and Black Lines. This is his newspaper. He was the DJ for like the annual AIDS walk, and he was a really good guy. DJ up north, Touche, and a lot of these clubs, and he's been on this show. And so one of the reasons we do this show, Rick, is that it's so important for us to capture these voices. Too many of us are going away fast. And I'm really so saddened. I'm so saddened by the loss of these great guys. And great women. Our first show was with Terry Bristol. That was our first show. Was with Terry Bristol.
Yeah.
So it's important. I think it's our legacy, but it's important that all of us are taking time to talk to each other and get to know each other. That's one of the beautiful things about our community as we grow old. We're starting to get to know each other. It's not just a party.
I agree. I think and you mentioned. I mean, we lost Big Ed this summer.
Yes.
Just maybe not even a month and a half ago. Terrell Bird.
Oh my God, Terrell. Yes.
It's just been
it's been really tough.
a summer of us really starting to we need to reconnect, and we need, as a community, we say a community.
Yes.
It's a season like this that we're going through that should, if nothing else, help us recognize how to really be and live as a community.
Yeah, present with each other.
Speaking of which, I want to bring on part of Keith's legacy is his sister. And joining us is Melanie Nunnally here on Vintage House Show. Melanie,
hello, good evening, everyone.
I'm not sure if we're muted or unmuted. Go ahead, Melanie.
Okay. I am unmuted. It looks like. Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Got a little echo.
Got you, but we got some echo going.
Devil's always busy when you're trying to talk about some good stuff. Amen.
Amen to that. Melanie, tell us about your childhood and growing up with Keith.
Oh my. So first of all, I am the only girl of 4 brothers, and Keith was the second oldest of my brothers. And so going back when I was little, Keith was early on. He was immediately the hero in the family. He was very athletic. He was always singing. I even remember, and he was always dancing, and I remember as a little girl, him, telling my mom he wanted to take singing lessons, and I remember him taking singing lessons, and, our house was like, it was like a studio, I guess, because my brother was always in bands. He was always in singing groups. I talked about his at his funeral. They were even in a dancing group called the Imperial Knights. Um, and my cousin was a part of that. Actually, when I was at his wake, a lot of the Morgan Park folks came in and they talked about the Imperial Knights, and they were like, oh my God, that group. They were like the Jackson 5. So it was always, Keith was always singing. He was always dancing. And he always had a lot of friends. So I just remember growing up with music in my house. And you remember the recorders, they were like, I don't know, they were like this. And it was a little mic you plugged in. He was always walking around the house singing in that. So it was definitely a musical household all the time, and full of friends. I had 4 brothers, but I had 100 more.
That perspective, and
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
thank you, Melanie, for that perspective of what it was like growing up with Keith. We are going to switch it up now and talk to one of our other house music community members, the folks from the south suburbs that really began the journey early with Ron. I have joining us both Hula Mahone and Eric Miller, otherwise known as East.
He ripped it out.
Hula, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing? How everybody doing?
Good. Hey, Hula.
Hey, from the studio. Eric, Smooth, how are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. Every time I see Hula's face, I smile.
Me too.
Hey, it's good to see y'all face. It's good to see y'all face. Trust me.
Yeah, love to see you all as well. Talk to us about your memories of Ron Carroll.
Well, my memory of Ron is sad as it is, Big Ed brought Ron to my attention when we started our record label, Afrhythmic Sound. Ron was the first artist on the Afrhythmic Sound in 1993. We did the first song for Ron called My Prayer. I'm not sure, but I think that may be his first song. And we had good energy in the studio, and we just put the stuff out, man, and just we rolled. We just had a good time, man, making music, just trying to keep this thing called house, just trying to be evolved in this thing called house that we all love and create. And we was just out there just trying to create more house.
And help us set some context around the time when this happened. When was this community building?
Wait, say that again, Kevin.
Give us the sense of what year this was.
This is 1993. 1993. Yeah. We were just off the cuff of Percolator and Liddell Townsend Nunu. So those songs was already out. They was already, popping across the country. And Ron was our next big thing.
And Eric, talk to us about your time with Ron? How did you meet him? How did you come to work with him?
Well, I think I was aware of Ron earlier than I met him. I think I first took notice of Ron in being on the South Side and him hanging posters, the infamous posters, and him, being out there just hustling. That is one of the things that I recently gave him his flowers with, and just told him, he is one of the hardest working guys from my scene and has been so consistent from, I want to say, I remember probably 1987, when I first became aware of him. He was, a bit younger than us. So as much as you're looking up to the people before us, we're also looking, down the ladder saying, man, here comes this guy. And I remember Ron, being in that wave, of DJs with Terry Hunter and Chris Underwood and those type of guys that were, just doing their thing. They were hustling and really before the records were coming out. Well, I guess the records were coming out. I take that back. But really him being on that other side of the culture, and really, representing in that way.
Thank you both for those perspectives and setting some context for how you came to know and what the relationship was with Ron. I want to circle back. One of the guests joining us this evening in honor and tribute is a woman who knew Keith very well and has certainly an important perspective to share. I'd like to invite Corrine Nunnally to join us. Corrine, how are you this evening?
Hi, how are you? Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Welcome to the Vintage House Show. This is your first time, of course, joining us. And while it's a somber occasion, it's also a celebratory one.
Indeed.
Talk to us about how you celebrate the life of Keith Nunnally.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for celebrating his life, not only in this moment, but in the reunion interview that you held with him and Roy and Steve. I remember when that happened, how excited he was about that opportunity. And so I want to thank you all for instigating that and getting that going. I definitely feel like that was a moment in time for both Steve and Keith that helped move things along. I had the pleasure of being a part of Keith's life ladder as it relates to his music career. And he just loved singing, and he loved singing house music. He loved what house did in terms of just bringing people together, and he loved being a vehicle that was being used to do that. Because in the world of house, house is about love, house is about freedom, house is about acceptance. It didn't matter who you were, what space you were in. It was a place where everyone felt loved. And Keith enjoyed being a catalyst of that and being in the midst of that. And so, very humble. He wasn't one to be braggadocious about his abilities or what he did in terms of the music. He was just grateful that he was still able to be a part of this movement. And he would get so excited about the opportunity to perform and to see that his music and his voice still moved people. And so I always enjoyed accompanying him and watching him on stage because he would become this just oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? He just had this amazing stage presence that everyone loved. And he had this dashing smile, and he related with the people in the crowd, and that energy was reciprocated, and he fed off of that. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to continue to celebrate his life, and to have some of those special memories of him and what he offered to the community.
Thank you so much for that perspective. Thank all of you who have joined in thus far. I want to bring us back to those of us here in studio. Again, Rick Lenore, DJ Lori Branch, our executive producer, Lauren Lowery, our producer and guest host occasionally, Louis West Green. We're all here because this is an important moment and tipping point for our community. And I want to ask you, and we'll start with you, Lori.
Yes.
Talk to us about the work that these individuals, and I love that we called the names of others who have become our musical ancestors. But talk to us about the work and their work ethics.
Yeah.
You know, because I know you have a perspective because you've shared the decks with these guys and shared the stage.
No, I mean,
them.
absolutely. I think, first of all, thank you all for being with us today and just honoring their lives. You know, Rick and I were just talking about how we don't have these opportunities to be as present with one another because we know each other from the parties. You know, we know each other from the stage, from the decks, from the studios. Um, and it's forcing us to be still with the memories and to be still with like our present in our community, and they were part of that community. You know, both Keith and Ron, you know, talk about hard working people. This is not an easy life. You know, to be in the house music community, to be as considered like pioneers in the house music community, is even more difficult because, you know, especially when I think about Ron, you know, this is a guy who started close to 40 years ago, if not 40 years ago, and was still putting in the work every day. You know, he's working like, I mean, like I don't have the energy to do that anymore. And I'm like, yeah, how many nights are you going to be out, Ron? I just saw you at a fundraiser, and now you're doing this, and you're doing this club. You got a residency, and you're recording, and you're doing that, and you know, all through the pandemic, he had so many things happening. You know, he had he brought the music to the people. And I think that was most important for both of them, is that they wanted to bring the music to the people, and they had the talent and the work ethic to do that. You know, I have so many wishes, and you know, I think about the both of them, and I I know that folks who started in this industry and maybe not achieve the level of success or fame later in life, you know, that they wanted to, that we owe them something. You know, we owe them the legacy. We owe them to continue in the way that we do. And maybe that's, Rick, what you can talk about, because I think it's still with us. Like we have a responsibility to them.
Yeah, I agree, and hopefully you guys can hear me because it's one thing that resonated, and I appreciate the remarks from Keith Sisters because it's for anybody that's listening that just haven't, you know, that really they don't realize these two gentlemen made a difference, and we always talk about, you know, a life well lived, you know, is, did you make a difference? Did you make a difference in someone's life? And you know, so often, you know, folks don't have that opportunity because they believe, or you know, for whatever reason, they believe their job is just a job that they do.
Right.
You know, I empty out the trash at a public school or something like that. Not, and that's not demeaning that job. but I think all of us look for value in what we do. And what I know about these two brothers is that they made a difference around the world. I mean, you can play their music and people recognize their music. There are people that can tell you the first time they heard that song. And that I don't know if enough people, especially here in Chicago, recognize the impact. Unless you get outside the bubble and travel the world and you talk to folks and you meet folks and you find out the impact that their music made on people, you really just don't realize. And so we do need to keep that legacy alive, and remember those contributions because they matter, and those folks made a difference.
A perennial presence in the house music community has just joined the stream. Billy Hilbring, also I call him Disco. He's a longtime friend of Keith Nunnally, and certainly he just had a conversation with Ron because of some of the work that Billy does. Billy, how are you this evening?
Hey, Billy.
And thank you for joining us. Billy, can you hear us? You are unmuted, so go for Billy. We will come back to Billy Hilbring. In the meantime, I want to ensure that our executive producer, who is also floating around the studio, ensuring that our audio and the direction that we're taking is going. But our archivist and the visionary for founding our partnership in the Vintage House Show, Lauren Lowery, talk to us about how we preserve the legacies of not only Ron and Keith, but all those who passed over the recent 6 months, a year, and beyond.
You know, this show is so important to me because this is why we do the show. We have lost so many people, and I thank God for our two hosts, Kevin McFall, Lori Branch, for bringing in Keith Nunnally in 2017, bringing in Mr. Lenoir, bringing in I like Lenoir. I like the, I don't know why people don't say that, right? It's French, right? So I think it's important. You know, Ron Carroll's been in the studio several times, and I really am so thankful that we were able to share their stories the way we were able to share them, in a very unique way, in a very authentic way, where they could come in and tell their own stories about themselves. You know, what I realized is that we loved the music as someone who loves house music, but I didn't know their whole stories.
Yeah.
I didn't know everything about them. And I thought certainly with a Black music genre, with these Black people who are artists and creatives, we should know more about who they are and how they've traveled the world and their impact on us as house music lovers, but their impact on the world. So I'm so happy that we get a chance to talk about them. We hopefully will be extending, you know, sort of the discussion on how we try to keep, you know, like these memories alive, how some of those people who we're not, you know, who sometimes don't get celebrated like this. Not everyone's going to have a documentary. And how are we celebrating who they are? How are we celebrating their lives? So I'm so blessed that we're able to do this and preserve these memories. Hopefully, I think Corrine asked me not too long after Keith's death to see if we could find the the interviews that we did. And so we did find them, Corrine, and we're going to be making sure that you get a copy of that, but we're also going to make sure that our podcast has that edited and remastered. So it's, you know, you can hear it well and you can hear his story. He said so much in that interview, that hour-long interview with Kirk Townsend and Kevin McFall. And it was just an amazing discussion. I remember at the end, he sang at the end of the discussion, and he talked about his health at the end of that discussion. So I'm happy we have these memories cataloged, and I look forward to more.
I was just going through some records. My nephew bless his heart, and his girlfriend, my bonus daughter, organized my 6,000 plus records.
Wow.
It took them several
That's a
weeks.
task. Yeah.
And on top of one of the stacks, I found J.M. Silk Shadows of Your Love, the 12-inch single 4 mixes.
Wow.
With Keith Nunnally.
You want to whip to the camera? Where's the camera?
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
a
it's
camera
up there?
there.
Oh, okay, there you go.
I don't know if
There
y'all can
it
see
is.
that.
Yeah.
Yep, we can.
Yeah.
We can. There.
I'm like, I gotta play this right now.
Yeah.
And it's a cut. I was like, I don't, I do some vinyl parties. And so I was like, I'm going to be playing this. I'm resurrecting all the JM Silk that I can find.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. These are gems within the genre. And I look forward to hearing them. Certainly in reflecting on a little bit of the shock and awe of the losses and the transition, because we never know the time in the day. I've gone to my collection or mixes and Spotify as well to listen and appreciate again. Yeah.
Billy
I
lost
think
his
that's the
volume.
most important thing.
Billy lost
right.
his
Is
volume
these
for some
guys
reason.
have
I'll check
left
it.
a legacy of their voice.
That's right.
Like, not too many people have that.
That's right.
That's going to be preserved forever.
Mhm.
I don't know, Rick. You're recording, so you know how important it is. The wax, the digital, all of that.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
you could talk about that.
Well, those artifacts are everything, right?
Yes.
And we talk about, just our desire to, make a mark, and
Yes.
you've got that, yeah, obviously you can listen to streaming, and many of our older records are being remastered and reissued in a digital format. But now you have vinyl that's coming
right.
back.
Oh yeah,
And
big
those
time.
are things that it is pretty cool to walk into a record store halfway around the world, and you're thumbing through a Chicago house section, and you see a Boo Williams record, or a Glenn Underground record, or an old JM Silk record, or obscure record from one of our labels, or one of Hula's labels,
right?
And know that wow, we're halfway around the world and it still exists.
Yeah, and you know what? You're not going to get this. You are not going to get that off of a digital file that you've downloaded.
You won't.
You're not going to get that with liner notes and outfits.
The outfits.
Come on now.
So I had to tell you. So Jam Silk, 10 City, what was it? Full House.
Yes.
Right? And just, start dressing, and everything. And it's like I said, these are the things that drive the culture, drive, you to step up your game. Because you look and say, like, wow, these guys, they got, suits on, or they got, and now you got to step up your game.
Costumes.
They've got,
They
They
weren't playing with those outfits.
Oh no, and that's the thing. I like I said, there was a lot of of influence that we saw from those early groups. I mean, we mentioned we don't talk enough about Daryl Pandy, right?
That's right.
And what a showman he was, and that was
vibrant.
Yes.
He was exuberant.
Right. But there was a period of time where you would be in New York, and at any given point you would have Liz Torres performing on the card, Jam Silk with Eleanor, all on the same card.
New Music
10 City,
Seminar, Winter Music Conferences were certainly the anchors of some of those opportunities where you could go across the country, right, and see our groups from Chicago perform on the same ticket. I want to jump in and take a quick moment of personal privilege, also to share what my memory and impact that these guys both had on me personally, and one of the reasons I was compelled, of course, collaborated with my colleagues Lauren and Lowery on this, but Keith Nunnally was a guy who actually entrusted his career reputation to me at one point. He was the first person in this genre to recognize the importance of having a publicist, someone who helped tell his story effectively to our media outlets and anyone who began to give a damn about what was happening in Chicago as this underground movement moved from the underground to a global phenomenon. Keith had that vision, and I'm gonna hold it together. But swelling up in me is a level of emotion because it's not often in this world that people will trust you, other than your family, right? Entrust you to do something like that. It's a heavy responsibility to craft his story and to pitch it to the Billboard magazines and dance music reports and disco mix clubs and street sound magazines and the like. And I am forever grateful because when I then went to Hula or to Rick and Gary and Larry, it was Keith's endorsement of what I was able to bring that opened those doors and made them comfortable, enabling me to do the same for their endeavors. And, you know, Ron Carroll was part of the Aphorismics and Clubhouse camp, I used to call them campgrounds. And he immediately, you know, embraced the opportunity to tell the story about the importance of My Prayer and why it was a important record, not just as a contribution to the genre, but as a statement that, you know, this genre is deeply connected to, you know, roots in gospel music and spirituality. And so I'm going to ask to go around the table now and ask people for their favorite records. And difficult as this may be, you may have a favorite from Ron and Keith, and I'd welcome your thoughts. And I want to start with Billy. If you are able to speak, please do so. Billy Hilbury.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yay!
Yeah, I think of all the records that Keith made in conjunction with J.M. Silk. I'm like Lori. Shadows of Your Love is outstanding and still prevalent today. The track that was used, the vocals that were used is all prevalent, still relevant to today's scene.
Thank you, Billy. Shadows of Your Love is definitely an anthem that does resonate even today.
That's right. We got the wax with the 4 mixes.
Yeah. but I may add, do not underestimate music is the key.
Oh, come on. Yeah, of course not.
No doubt. That was a breakthrough in the genre. What about with Ron?
With Ron,
you have a favorite?
I would say My Prayer. I think that's a favorite.
My Prayer it is. I'm gonna jump to Hula. Talk to us, sir.
Okay, yeah, I think for Keith, definitely for me, is music is the key. That's the one. They talking about DJs, they talking about music, they talking about music pretty much is the key. And I that song really resonated with me. I always loved that song. And for Ron, I would probably say A New Day, or it's another song we did called Keep Your Head to the Sky. That I don't think we actually even released it because we started traveling overseas too much and we never got around to releasing it. But it's another song called Keep Your Head to the Sky that's really, really different that I think a lot of people need to hear. They never heard it of Ron stuff. We got a bunch of stuff that people never heard. You know what? We'll see, man, because I I'm still dealing with this right now, and it's like it's crazy,
Sure.
man. I'm still dealing with it. So, and I don't
Hold
want to
on.
seem like I don't want to seem like a vulture trying to release stuff and he gone and stuff like that. So, man, it's crazy, brother.
No, you got certainly mad respect in terms of how you operate and the auspices under which you operate. So I don't think that'll ever be a question. I want to move around the panel here and go to you, Melanie, if you would share your favorites.
A couple of things. First and foremost, because as you guys were talking, there were a lot of things resonating with me. But I like both. I mean, I liked Music is the Key. And I love I Can't Turn Around because I just love that. Dun, 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 you know, when that music, it is just so invigorating. It's very invigorating. But, you know, as you all were talking, and before I finish with Keith, I want to say that about Ron. Um, Ron, I was a late bloomer because my brother is 7 years older than me, 7 years older than me. And I did not start dancing and going to house parties until I was probably 21 or 22. I was very sheltered by my brothers. And so, and I went off to college. Of course, once I got to college at Tuskegee, everybody knew house music. So when I came back to Chicago and I used to teach high school and I was going out then, that's when I got introduced to Ron Carroll. And wherever I was, I'm like, I wanted to hear Ron. I loved him as a DJ, and that again, that's how he ended up DJing at my party, my 30th birthday party. And so, interestingly enough, as I was coming up with my brother, you know, and all of this house music was going on, I'm hearing about them talking about Sawyer's and the Music Box and Ron Hardy. I was hearing, I'm hearing all these conversations, but I was not engaged in house music at that time, but it was in my blood, in my sphere, if you will. But what I wanted to say, as in this moment when I'm talking, as you all were all talking and they were talking about legacies and so forth, I got to thinking about my brother and how coming up, he just wanted to sing. And my experience with him, Mendel Talent Shows, was my brother singing Earth, Wind and Fire, Frankie Beverly and Mays, Luther Vandross. And, at his funeral, I did a little rendition of Keep Your Head to the Sky, but he sang that one too. But We Write a Song by Earth, Wind and Fire. And he had an amazing falsetto. So I was always just fascinated with his voice. But here you have, as you all were talking, Ron and all of the brothers and sisters who came up in the house music genre, they did not know that they were about to be a part of something that was emerging. That something that was birthing, because there was one day my brother's singing and he's in all these talent shows and he's in plays and then one day it was house music. And I even remember the house music clothes. I remember there was a dress, the baggy pants. I still have some house music, some house era pants, the baggy pants with the big pockets. Oh, they're in my college trunk, right? But it's just amazing that they did not, they desired, Ron and others desired to be singers, to desire to be entertainers, but little did they know that they were going to all be a part of a genre like that is profound in itself.
That's right.
That you were a part, eyes have not seen, ears haven't heard what God will do. God has this amazing plan, and here was a burgeoning of a genre. I just want to sing. I want to be on stage. I want to perform. But here, as we talk about Ron and we talk about Keith and so many others, Daryl Pandy, I remember him being in my house. They were just not becoming these phenomenal singers and entertainers, but they were birthing a genre. And that is profound. And it is also profound that genre was birthed out of our city, Chicago, Illinois. That and now it's beginning to reverberate throughout our nation, and it was always over in the world. But
Real.
that's what was profound to me. Is I'm like, yeah, you know, he didn't know, he didn't say when he was little, I want to be a part of a genre. You know, he just wanted to be a singer. And that's what's amazing. As I was listening to all of you, I was like, wow, the profundity of it all. But yeah, and I do want to say this before I close my mouth, is that as I was listening to his album with one of his friends, Learning Jones, we're riding in the car and we're listening to it, and he's playing the ballads on the JM Silk album. And I had never listened to the ballads. And so, and you all must understand, a lot of this that you're talking about, I'm hearing it for the first time. I'm hearing, you know, Kevin, when I met you, you were telling me, you know, I was your brother's publicist. So I'm also enjoying the legacy that you're sharing, because I was the little sister. So I didn't know the background, right? But I'm listening to, so I've been playing The Heart of Passion. It's a Heart of Passion. That song is awesome. I've been playing it every day.
And the interesting thing about why that song, as well as other ballads, were on the album is because RCA had a vision for this group, JM Silk, that was certainly known for their dance records, but they directionally saw an opportunity and had a vision for them to be, you know, beyond and go outside the box. And
because he was truly a balladeer for sure.
yeah. Oh my goodness! I remember Keith being in some bands in high school that he, you know, they were soulful R&B groups. I want to make sure everyone around the table has a chance to share their favorites. I want to go. Who we missed? We missed our.
Did you ask Hula?
You get Eric.
Oh, you got Eric.
Got it. E Smooth.
E Smooth.
Is he still on?
We I think E dropped off and said he would be back. So to Rick Lenore.
Well, yeah, I can tell you. So for me, for Keith, I'd probably have to go with. It's hard because I cannot shake the image of them performing. I Can't Turn Around. You know, with Roy and the because
powerhouse.
Yeah, well, yeah,
video.
I cannot shake that vision, but I gotta think his music is the key. I'll go with that. And for Ron, it's funny. I'm a little biased because I actually wrote a song with him. Okay. And that was 93 as well. And so one thing, and Hula knows this, is that Ron and Ed wanted to work. They were looking to get it in. And I really didn't know them that well, and had a chance to work on the studio, and immediately, I put together a track, and, you know, he and Ed started writing, and I was like, oh my God, these guys are good. I was like, it's just like, they're really, I mean, like, I heard you say, and I knew that there was going to be something big for him. So I won't say that's my favorite, because my favorite has got to be Back Together.
Back Together.
Yeah.
That's mine too.
And I have to tell you that record, I was not, everybody's kind of nodding their head a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd kind of, had a bit of a pause from music. And I remember when I first heard it, I said, man, that sounds like Ron Carroll. I did not know who the song was. I just, like, when I heard it, I was like, man, that's nice. And it had a very, it's just a great song. So I would say that.
It is. Lori.
I was going to say that song too, because I just I have this wax
at
home, and I was looking through it. I was like, okay, I hadn't heard that. I was like, oh yeah, that was a gem. I like a lot of his stuff. I mean,
it's hard to pick up.
It's very hard.
It is.
With JM Silk and Keith, it's hard. I think that I Can Never Shake That Powerhouse video. It's just so cute and so, I don't know, just nostalgic.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's my favorite.
I appreciate that. I want to get Louis West Green in here too. I know you guys.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, for Keith Nunnally, it's gotta be music is the key. I mean, it just says everything. But for Ron Carroll, I have two. So Back Together, but also Live in Me. So I don't know if you guys ever listened to that Live in Me track, but it touched me, and my mom had passed. And I listened to that, and it just really hit me. And I was like, man, because I remember when I heard it for the first time, I think it was on like a collaboration album or something like that. I was like, man, Ron made this. I didn't even know, and Back Together, I didn't know he made that either at first. So it was kind of
a humble brother as well. For me, it's Back Together. For Ron, and then probably because I'm biased, when Keith went to Giant for his solo debut, there was a release called Seasons of Love.
Oh yeah.
And Steve was on the production.
Yeah. I can't sing. Let me not. I remember that though. No, I remember that. That's a good one.
Seasons of Love
yeah.
is such an upbeat, up-tempo song that well written, structured. Again, there was a target to get to radio with that song as a breakthrough dance release. It's always been difficult to get dance on radio. But one thing that stands out about Seasons of Love is the stretch and range that Keith's vocals deliver in that song. It is like you can feel it rising up through him and coming out. These are the seasons.
And it's a great song. It's a really well-written song.
It's a song, right?
Yeah, it's
the structure
really
again
well-written song.
was intended to try to break through on radio. So,
hey Kevin, can I share a Keith Nunnally story?
Please.
So Rick, you and Lowery might remember this. Remember when they did the 100 DJs Day?
Yes.
Keith came down there and read everybody.
He did.
He read 100 DJs in that building. Yes. He was like, y'all better put some respect on these artists' names.
On these singers. He did.
He took the mic while we celebrating and he went off.
Yes, he did.
And he was like, y'all better put some respect on the artist's name.
The Shrine.
The Shrine. He was like, y'all better put some respect on the artist's name too.
Yes, he did.
While y'all down here celebrating DJs, y'all better respect the people who sing these songs.
That's
and
right.
I never forget that because he took the mic and just snapped on everybody. 100 DJs there.
I think I sort of remember that.
If I can piggyback on that, I was there with Keith when that happened.
Oh yeah.
And, yes, I was. And that was the thing with Keith. He felt that it was very important. He wanted there to be this understanding and appreciation and celebration of the collaboration between singer and DJ and producers. Right. He always talked about that and was very adamant about the need to celebrate all of the contributions that were being made to the genre. I also wanted to piggyback on Kevin, and thank you, Kevin, for saying everything that you said about Seasons of Love, because that's exactly what I was going to say. I feel like Seasons of Love really captured Keith's voice range and gave a glimpse of where his voice was going to go as it relates to music. So Seasons of Love was definitely my favorite song of his. And then finally, I just want to offer publicly to the family of Ron Carroll, on behalf of the Nunnallys, our condolences. Although unfortunate to share this space, as we are both mourning the loss, we are thankful to share this space in celebrating both of their legacies within the genre and at this time. And I'm pretty sure I speak for Melanie as I say this.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kareem, for being present and being steadfast. I shared in my Facebook post that was intended to provide tribute to Keith that you were in my ear and encouraging me to spend time and moments with Keith, which I did not get to do before his transition. And so I'm committed to continuing to honor him, but I know that we did great things together in this life. And so that personally keeps me encouraged. And to your point, we spoke in a pre-production call. Kareen said to me, stay lifted and encouraged. And I too share that statement with all of you that are on. God did bring you all into this space at this time. It's been very intentional and guided. No one of us did it. It was the Spirit that led us to this time. And speaking of time, we still have some time. I know Hula shared a Keith story. That was a great one. I was not present at the shrine, but I keep hearing stories. And so I do have one story, and while I'm sharing it, maybe this will inspire others to have a recollection. But in addition to being Keith's publicist, and that came sort of later in our career and relationship, but we were high school friends. And while I was at college, I went to Illinois, and Keith was at DePaul, but he and Steve were touring. We booked them to perform at the University of Illinois for Kappa Carnival one year, and it was in the ice arena. And this was probably circa 1985, 86-ish. And they came down and performed with an entrance that was unforgettable. They drove this car. It was it belonged to another another friend and DJ in a significant contributor to the community, Cedric Ball. This was a classic Lincoln, and they drove this Lincoln into the ice rink up to the stage. We had smoke machines going on the stage. So they popped out of the car like, bam, we're here. They got almost up the stage, and Keith actually slipped on the stairs because this was a moment where the fog machine, we didn't have
you had wet ice,
greasy fog. And I'm thinking, oh my God, the show's not gonna happen.
Chemical fog, not the dry ice.
Yeah, Keith might have injured himself. And there's some liability potentially in
him falling on the stage. Yeah, that's not a good thing.
And yet the show went on, and Keith and Steve had been and will forever be known as consummate performers.
Absolutely.
So that's one story. And Steve Hurley, in fact, is just reaching out and wanting to share his perspective on his favorite record for both Keith and Ron. Thank you, Louis, for enabling this moment. For Keith, Steve shared Shadows of Your Love. Was also his favorite. And for Ron, Lucky Star. Steve extends his apologies that he wasn't able to join in the conversation via our stream and this radio broadcast. But certainly we know, just as everyone here, and I'm sure with a unique perspective, Steve is reflecting and grieving on these losses deeply. So we send our hearts out to you, Steve, and thanks again for your correspondence over the last few days.
Absolutely.
Other stories? Keith or Ron?
Yeah, I got a little story. based on that incident at the shrine, which I wasn't there, but I've been at a couple others I don't need to mention. But Keith's theory was he felt that like the vocalists and the artists didn't get the accolades that they deserved, and he always felt the DJs got more of the accolades. In retrospect, I personally kind of agree with that. But on the flip side, the DJ is the one that plays the music. So you have to, it's like a give or take on the relationship with the in the industry.
No doubt. There is it's an ecosystem, as I like to call it, right? There's the artists, the vocalists, singers, producers, remixers. Um, at the end of that ecosystem is the audience, right? So most importantly, how does an audience feel? It's certainly up to a DJ to curate a musical landscape. It's the creativity of an artist and their talent and their gifts and the gifts of a remixer and a producer to bring out the best in that artist. So all of it really works together. And Rick, I know you have a perspective.
Well, yeah, and Hula might as well. I think it's and I totally understood where Keith was going with that. I think it's probably something that as a house culture, as an emerging culture, it was DJ driven, and maybe that's part of the reason why I think there was this gap where there was more emphasis put on the DJ. Now it's all about the DJ, right? You got DJs that don't sing, that really don't even produce, that they're the artists and with guest vocalists. But I think there was a period of time, especially in Chicago, where you saw a shift from it being very DJ focused, where you started to see the artists put out front, where it was, I knew Ron more as an artist than a DJ, personally, quite honestly, right? And I think about we've talked about Tin City and Daryl Pandy and, but you fast forward, you look at artists like Dajé. People know Daje's name. They know her voice, right? I think that was something that we started to get over as a scene in Chicago, at least from the label perspective. And it's something that's, I think, is critical, because in order for this scene to grow, you have to have a face on it. And it can't be always be the DJ, which at that, now it is all about the DJ, and that's even in pop music. But I totally understood Keith's point. I think what got mixed that day was that it was about celebrating the DJ. And I understood why he felt the way he felt, and it's just it was not to diminish what he contributed or what he accomplished, but the point he raised is a good one, and I think collectively we started to see more of the producers and the folks that were kind of making the music see the importance of having that artist out front. And I don't know, Hula, if you have a thought, or if
Oh man, I go on my high horse about this. I mean, I've been complaining about this forever, that what Track Records and DJ International did with no artist development,
right,
really stifled the Chicago house scene, because they would not promote and market an artist. I mean, I can go on forever. Y'all can bring me back for that, because I'm just saying I'm always pro artists, everything.
That's why I pulled you in it, because I knew you would. Me and you talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this like a week ago.
And to your credit, you hired our firm to represent.
Even when I didn't know what a release letter was, I just trusted you knew what you was doing, and it worked. We had a release letter for all our artists.
Yep, we did. And again, we all have stood in the gap, right, to create infrastructure, and to everyone's credit, and especially, again, want to acknowledge those who have passed on. They stood in the gap and built something that has become global, and it is sustainable. We see an emergence of young artists, young DJs, remixers, and producers coming up, and we need them, to carry the torch. And I'm thankful that the foundation was laid by such, pioneering figures. And I think Kareen and Mel, you both called out the fact that, no one necessarily said this is what I want to do or aspire to do, or this is my ambition. They sort of leaned into it with their God-given gifts and talents, and we're thankful for that. I do want to ensure that everyone had a chance to share stories, and the folks online are chiming in, sending their blessings and love to everyone, the families of both Keith and Ron. I know, Mel, we're keeping you up late because you're on the Eastern time zone. But if you had any other perspective that you wanted to share before it gets too late, please do so.
Ma'am?
You still with us? Kareem?
I'm with you. I think Mel is frozen. I'm not sure, something happened.
She may need to rejoin us, but
This is not going to be the last time we do this either.
That's a good point.
I say it's not going to be. This is still fresh for so many people, and even as we speak, there's a tribute at Masada that's packed with people who are dancing, to Ron, in Ron's memory and in Keith's memory. And I think that it's just the beginning. We're learning how to honor people, because we're at the season of our lives where we're going to have to do more of this, so we're learning how to do that. And this will be the beginning of a conversation, not the end.
Speaking, excuse me.
Yeah.
Lori, excuse me. Speaking of honoring people, I'm sure a couple of you guys know on here that Ron actually reached out for me last Tuesday. It was regarding, he was inquiring about doing a pop-up, which he ended up doing to honor a lot of people in the house music community that have recently passed, which included Keith, the singer from Elias from Follow Me, and Lee Collins. Lee Collins. So he was just asking me, working with the Park District, he's asked me how to go about doing it. So it worked out for him. I told him anybody gave me any problems, give me a call.
That's great.
And then here we go. 6 days later, he passes away. So you gotta live each day.
Yeah.
Yep, you just never know.
Earlier, I did want to mention we lost two other souls. As y'all know, Vernell Bird's brother, Terrell. Am I pronouncing it right?
Terrell.
He passed as well, and so that was a shock, and we were, very saddened by his passing. And so I know the family is taking the time to properly honor him. And we also lost Harry Tyner. So, it's been a really tough month. And Harry Tyner was a DJ, mostly Northside DJ, but, a huge writer, DJ. He's been on this show before. Very interesting dude. He did the AIDS run walk. He'd be the guy out there spinning, while the people were walking. So, it's a very somber time, but, we're just so appreciative of everybody's presence. And it's not, like I say, this is the beginning of a conversation. Each one of them is a catalyst, and each one of their memories is something that now we can polish and we can remember properly, and we can resurrect these songs, and we can make them known to people who didn't know them before. So it gives us an opportunity. And maybe my question is, what does their legacy mean for us as people who are in the business and still trying to do this work? What do we take away from their presence on this earth? What's our lesson?
That question is to the panel, as well as those watching our live stream. What do you want to take away from the lives and legacies of so many that have contributed and are now on to glory? Go for it.
Their impact and their collaboration to it. That's key.
Collaboration. It's good. That's how it happens.
I think for me, my thinking is about the fact that we've been part of a community, many of us for many, many years. I think this is changing and causing us to change how we do community.
That's
I think moving forward, we are showing up. We're still doing community, but how we do community is going to change as a result of this. And I believe it'll be for the better. I believe it will be with more love, with more compassion, and I think it will be through the lens of humanity. Yeah.
A profound perspective, Kareen, and anyone here in the studio want to take that as well?
The only thing I would add is that we have to live each day. I think my biggest takeaway from what we've seen this summer, I had conversations with Ron. I've stopped at Masada maybe a month or so ago. Just popped in just to, and the one thing I'll say about Ron, he was, he was just a humble dude, right? Yeah. So the last time I'd seen him prior to that was, I think maybe a year and a half ago in Amsterdam, right? It just shows you how far back that was. And he sees you, and it's a hug, and it's like 100%. Like he had, and he's like, I got to get you up here to DJ, and you were gonna send me some tracks. What happened? And I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because I did not send him the tracks. I life gets in the way, and it's like, oh, Ron's too busy, or and we gotta knock that out. We gotta cut it out. Yeah. Life, be present. This goes fast, and we need to make it a point to be in community. What you said is so important, and really redefining what that looks like. And it's these parties are more than just a party now. Yes. It really needs to be me looking you in the eye, like, how are you?
Yeah.
Really connecting, really, having that type of connection.
You know what? Recently did the Arc Fest with Lady D and Hannah. We did our little back-to-back. And Ron was, the Good Girls. And I didn't know he was there because we're in a moment. He was on the stage behind us the whole time. First person I saw when I turned around was Ron with his arms out like this. Yeah. And he was like, y'all got down, y'all jammed, y'all did the damn thing. And I can't tell you how much that meant, and he was always that way.
Yeah. I want to ensure, because we've had an engaging and somber conversation, that we give our station ID. We are WNUR 89.3 FM and HD1 Evanston, Chicago, and you're tuned in to a special tribute episode of the Vintage House Show. Your main man Mega in studio with my sisters in Vintage House, along with several other special guests, both in studio and on our virtual studio. We're talking about the lives, legacy, and impact of Keith Nunnally, Ron Carroll, and so many others of our musical ancestry. And I want to attribute that term to Ron. I think it was in an episode of his show that he was doing out of the Nocturne with Alan King, who jumped in on the comments and extended an RIP to his brothers in the genre. But he referenced that notion of the people that we have been in community with here on this time in life and on Earth, are, and those that have passed on are now our musical ancestors. And so I want to ensure I provide proper attribution to where that reference comes from. We are extending the conversation because it's an opportunity, right, for everyone to share. But I don't want to keep all too long. I know that I want to thank Melanie Nunnally, Q's sister, having joined us, and she is on the Eastern time zone, so she's gone to take her rest for the evening. But we're still in studio with Lori, dropping incredible wisdom, with Rick sharing his spectacular memories. We've got Hula, who's joined us virtually, and everyone certainly who are friends of the Vintage House Show. We now have a bigger family in that we have Kareem also joining us.
Thank you. I got a quick comment.
And our executive producer, who has really enabled this show, has some remarks that she wants to share with us. So, Lauren Lowery, talk to us.
What brings me joy around this time is now I'm seeing a lot of these old videos from Jam Silk, from Keith Nunnally, and we just recently got to see Keith Nunnally in full performance at Millennium Park, July 2024. And what I want now is for everyone to share those memories. I definitely want to get to the city of Chicago, ask David, where is the footage of that fantastic performance?
Steve actually has it. Steve and Skip.
Yeah, so we need to see that. We would love to. I think so many people have so many little videos and things from the past and the present that we need to share with everyone now, because I feel like it just brings us joy to see that. It honors him and honors us, and we just want to continue to honor them in whatever way we can. So that's it. Thank you all so much. So thank you all. I just want to again thank the hosts of this show. They do a wonderful job, and I'm so happy we have been able to memorialize the conversations with so many people and their contributions. And we just want to make sure we're continuing to do that, over the next 10 years. We're celebrating 10 years, and hopefully got 10 more years of celebrating the history of house music.
Can you believe it?
That's amazing. That's great.
You're on every day.
Thank
You know that, right? every show you're on.
I've seen it.
He said he's gonna take me to the studio.
And I've been waiting.
Okay.
You
gotta make a record with me.
Come on. Yeah.
Hey, you all. Mel just called me. She said that there was a storm, so her electricity and everything.
Oh, wow.
That's what happened. So she just called. So she wanted you all to know that she didn't just hang up.
Sweet.
Okay. Well, again, we thank you, Kareem. We thank Melanie.
Sure.
Thank you, Hula Mahone.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Billy.
Yes.
Hillspring.
Thank you.
Thanks to DJ Louis West Green, who is providing some much needed technical support as well as perspective. Thanks to my co-host of Vintage House Show, Lori Branch.
We'll see you next week.
I'll be here next week. So tune in next week.
October 1st.
Surprise guest.
All right.
I think it's Javon. He doesn't know it yet. But
thank you to Rick Lenore as well.
Thanks for the invite.
See you one of these Sundays coming up, Rick.
Yeah, man. I'll be out there.
I'm working to do a Clubhouse Mirage reunion show.
Okay.
So
let's do it.
Look
Let's
for
do
that
it.
coming
I'm
up.
gonna pack my lunch and pack my night bag and come out there.
Yeah. Hey, don't take
It's
the
a
Kennedy.
haul.
Do not take the Kennedy. Come on, make sure to drive. Don't
Okay.
make the mistake I made.
And check on your people, man. Make sure you
Man,
know, like,
bruh.
ask everybody,
Yes,
like
that's
Rick
it.
just said, like how you doing, and you know, and be pushy about it. You know, like
Yeah.
when a lot of you guys take a lot of flights and stuff, especially like you, Hula, and Maurice and that, you know, 3 hours, get up, walk around, drink water, don't drink alcohol on the flight. It sets up blood clots. I don't know what happened, but you know, Ron could have had a blood clot. He just came back from Italy. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that you have to worry about when you're flying all around, that kind of stuff. And so be careful, be mindful, you know.
Absolutely. And I want to thank y'all, man. It's
Go ahead.
I want to thank y'all, man, because I've been it's been hard dealing with this, man. Because you know, we was together Sunday at the lot, laughing and talking and everything. And when Ron left, he left about 6 o'clock from the lot. And when we were packing up at the end of the lot, and somebody said that he passed away, dude, I was in denial Sunday night. I was like, I'm not believing that. I said, I need to be verified. I'm like, he was just here. I'm not believing that.
Yeah.
And you know, and I was just in denial. So I appreciate y'all doing this today. And it's just like Monday morning, I got a call from Xavier Gold.
Oh wow.
She was just like, I'm just checking on you. I heard what happened. I'm just checking on you.
Yeah, man, phone lit up Monday.
Yeah,
I talked to folks I hadn't talked to in a while, which is a good thing.
Yeah, so I appreciate y'all doing this, man, because it definitely helps with you know, just dealing with it, everything, and the reality of everything.
Thank you for that, and Louis, thank you for calling that out. It is a call to action.
It is.
Yes,
Kareem's
sir.
call to action resonates as well. Let's do community different, build
That's
it
right,
differently. But most importantly, let's keep the music, the feeling that house engenders alive. And I would be remiss if I didn't plug why we do the Vintage House Show. It is to ensure that these first person narratives are preserved so that nobody else can tell the story and distort it. There's an African proverb which says, until the lion begins to tell the story from their perspective, it will always favor the hunter. And on that note, thank you for tuning in. Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Next Wednesday, my co-host, Lori Branch. Please join her, but make sure you're tuned in every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Central, to the Vintage House Show, WNUR 89.3 and HD1 Evanston, Chicago. Love you all. Peace.
Love you. Thank you.
All right.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Is this playing? Kevin?
Is it up?
Good night, everybody. Thank you again. Greatly
Good night.
appreciated.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
should have moved.
I think that was him.
Oh wow. Thank you guys. It's been good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You drove in from the Burbs, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Louis.
How long?
It was an hour.
Well, hopefully it's not.
Like I said, it wasn't.
Hey,
It was
Talitha.
the Kennedy.
Hey, Linda.
Yeah, I'm
Where do you live?
Bolingbrook.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot
Yeah.
that.
Thank you,
'Cause
Reggie.
my folks
As
are-
always, thank
we're
you for
out.
the anniversary. Thanks
So
to
that's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sure
whenever you
not
want
so
to.
distant.
Yeah.
And I'm
cousin,
retired now, so I'm
Andrew.
at home.
Welcome home
I am.
to you, Andrew.
I'm still out there a
and,
lot. My
hope
post
you're
passed.
enjoying your
Right.
time,
Passed
and
this
we'll
year.
continue our
But we still
chat.
in the house. We still
Okay.
trying to deal with that. So
Right.
I'm out there a lot.
Yeah.
Shout out to the
Well, no, I know
Hatchets,
you busy. You got, and so that's what I said on your
Williams,
time, because my time is like,
Brian
Okay.
Pope,
I'm in
thank
a,
you for
you know,
tuning in.
uh,
Alan King,
Would you be remotely interested?
Randall McFarland.
So I have a
Thank
cousin.
you all.
His
And
name is
please
Billy
do
Branch.
take care of
He's a
yourselves.
pretty famous blues player.
Hugs.
He's
and
been
well
nominated for
wishes.
3 Grammys. He plays all over the world.
Amen,
Okay.
Mega. I'm out.
He's got a new album out. He's pretty well known in that scene, but he really wants to do house.